How you doing? I'm doing good. I see it's a sunny day in Vancouver. I'm surprised anyone's here, actually. But it is good to be here. One of the things I wanted to sort of mention right off the top is I gave a speech at it's run by Cambridge House, same people. It was called the World Resource Investment Conference in 2013, and this was the name of my speech in 2013. Bitcoin, bullion, and bullets. You might notice Bitcoin there. I remember seeing the crowd, and it was a lot of people. It was like 500 or 1,000 people. Everyone was shaking their heads. He's crazy. Bitcoin was around, I think, $30 at the time. It's now $2,100. How many people here like Bitcoin or think it's a good thing in general? By hands? That's interesting. It's about 20%. Okay. How many people hate Bitcoin? Hate it. Or dislike it quite a bit? Well, a lot of people didn't put their hands up. Okay, one guy, he looks really angry about it. Why? Okay, so let me explain what's going on here. We are going through an evolution, not a revolution, in money and banking. If you like gold, you probably like it for a reason. And you probably like it because it's not controlled by a central banksters. Is that correct? How many people here like gold? There we go. So now we got everybody. All right. And do you like it in general? Like, there's probably numerous reasons, not just because it's shiny, but you like the fact that Janet Yellen can't make as much gold as she wants and give it to her friends, right? Correct? Right. Same reason why you should like Bitcoin. I was here in 2013, in May, talking about this, and you guys didn't listen. Someone maybe did, but I haven't met them yet. I'm telling you again. Now, here's the thing. We are getting a little bubbly in the Bitcoin at this moment in time. So if you're listening to what I'm saying now, I wouldn't put all of your money into Bitcoin today. I would wait a little bit. We're going through, this thing has gone up. And by the way, I'll get to why gold's going to take off soon as well. But we are, Bitcoin was about $700 about 4 months ago, and now it's $2,100. It hit $2,800, and actually I told a lot of people to sell right when it hit $2,800, so I nailed that as well. But this is not going away. If there's one thing I can leave you guys with today, and don't get me wrong about what I'm saying here, I think that gold and silver is very critical and essential if you want to retain your purchasing power, retain your assets in the next few years. We're going to have a collapse of unbelievable proportions, and no one's even going to remember I said this because it's going to be so crazy for a while. But I am a huge fan of gold and silver because it is not a central bank fiat currency. And we're going to see craziness. But I want to just plant one seed today, which I tried to do in 2013, which is what, 4 years ago now. Just try to learn a little bit about it. I know I actually got into Bitcoin. I told all my subscribers to buy it at $3 in 2011. I said, this is going to change the game. No one listened to me back then, including myself, unfortunately. I didn't even buy any myself. Regretting that one. But this is a game changer. This is nowhere near a fad. This is not tulip mania. I can see the one angry Bitcoin guy. He doesn't like what I'm saying, but Bitcoin is not going away. But if the reason you like gold and silver is because you know central banks destroy money and destroy assets for most people, except for the point, it's not the 1%, it's 0.0001%. If you know that, you should be looking into Bitcoin. And now it could go to zero. This is a new technology, it just came out in 2009. It also could go to $1 million if it replaces fiat currencies. So all I want to say is, because I said this in 2013 and no one listened, I'm back, so I want to say it one more time, at least look into it. Okay? I'm going to stop talking too much about Bitcoin at this point, but just look into it. This is a game changer for all the right reasons. This can actually save humanity. I could actually get into that. But this is that's the Bitcoin chart. So that was when I is there a screen? Oh, there we go. So that's when I featured it here in May 2013. I guess it was around $50 or something at that point. So a lot of people look at that chart and say, I missed the boat, so I'm not even going to listen to what this guy's saying. You haven't missed the boat at all. This is just starting. And again, don't get me wrong, it could go to zero. Like, this is a crazy time, but it's a beautiful time. And I'll explain a little bit about that. So let's talk about what's so great about cryptocurrency. So I am going to talk a little bit more about Bitcoin, but it's going to relate to why I think gold and silver is going to really take off next, and why these gold stocks could have fantastic returns. So I know a lot of people here care about that, and I'm with you guys. I get beat up on the internet all the time by gold bugs. I'm like, I've been in gold forever. I'm the gold guy, but Bitcoin's awesome. That's all I'm saying. Don't close your mind off. Central banks are the problem. Janet Yellen needs to be hung. One clap, thank you. Right, yeah, actually that's right. Janet Yellen, actually, she's actually, I think, a senile. I don't think she even knows what she's talking about. I think they put her on Prozac and put her on stage. The real guys, they need to be. Actually, you know what? No violence. This evolution needs to be non-violent. And it is, and Bitcoin's actually making that happen. What? All right, a few claps for that one. All right, so some people are hearing me. Great. Digital age. We're now in a digital age. I don't know if, I know the angry guy is about 80, right, 70 something. He probably doesn't even have a smartphone, which is fine. I pointed you out because you were the only person who put up your hand that you hate Bitcoin. Things change, man. Things change, and we're now in a digital age. You talk to your kids or your great-grandkids, and anyway, they're on Snapchat. They don't even know what's going on. They're just blah, blah, blah. The world's changing. It is, right? Can't we agree on that? The world is changing. It's very digital. I know I've been in bed with my wife, and I'll ask her on Facebook Messenger, how are you doing? She'll be right there. She'll be like, good, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Things are changing. It has good things and bad things, right? In some ways, like, there's so many people, you look at a family having dinner and all of them are on their phones for the entire time. And I could get into what they're eating and why they shouldn't eat it, but that's a whole other topic. But they'll just be on their phones. And a lot of people point that out and say it's really sad. But there's also a meme on the internet, which I agree with, which is it's everyone on a bus in the 1940s in the U.S. and every single person's got their newspaper open. So that was the version of the phone back then. The thing with the newspaper was that's all propaganda and lies, whereas when you have a phone, you actually have some ability to get real information for the first time, actually, that I've ever known about in human history. So the internet's changing things. Bitcoin, well, I was involved in around when the internet came out. I was working at a bank. I'm from Canada originally, a place called Dedmonton, and they had really good hockey back then. And actually, I think they're going to win next year, but that's a whole other topic as well. But when the internet came out, and I still remember the first person came up and they said, have you heard about this internet? And I went, no, what is it? And he said, they figured out how to connect all the computers. And I was in CIBC at the time. They were going to promote me to bank manager, and I went, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to get on the internet. This is going to change everything. And a lot of people thought I was crazy. How much has the internet changed our lives? You can say for good or for bad, but it has changed our lives. The biggest thing I've seen since the internet is cryptocurrency, is things like Bitcoin, and it's so much bigger than Bitcoin. The total market cap of all cryptocurrencies, sorry, I said I wasn't going to talk too much about it, I get excited. The total market cap of cryptocurrencies is currently $70 billion. So almost $1/10 trillion, and it's just getting started. Now, I'm not saying you should sell all your gold stocks and buy Bitcoin, but learn about it, please. Some of the reason, limited inflation. It's just a computer program. So what's the problem with currency today? Anyone who owns gold probably knows this. Central banking, which is a tenet of communism, is the problem. If you have a Politburo or a bunch of people in stuffed suits who study their Keynesian economics and they can print up as much money as they want, that's not very good. I think most people know this, right? That's why cryptocurrencies can be so much better. It's decentralized. No one can control it. Some of the people who are against Bitcoin or they don't like it for whatever reason will say, well, you know, who controls it? No one. That's why it's so beautiful. Where is Bitcoin? Does anyone know where it is? Can you point to it? It's nowhere. This is game changing. You can store $1 billion in Bitcoin in your own brain. And if you wanted to buy something in China, I don't know what you'd buy for $1 billion, maybe a gold mine. You can send that in like 2 seconds. Sometimes it takes up to a day now. It's getting really clogged, but they're fixing it all. But, and no one can stop that transaction. This is beautiful. This is what gold and silver was meant to be. And it's also, whoever founded it, and a lot of people say, well, who knows who even created it? It doesn't matter. It's open source software. But you know, whoever created it based it off of gold. That's why it's called Bitcoin mining. How are Bitcoins created? They're mined. But they just use that terminology. But you actually have to put in work and effort and expense and time to create a Bitcoin, which is the same as gold. And that's why gold and silver have been, throughout human history, very valuable as a store of wealth and in many respects a currency or a money. Bitcoin is the digital version of gold and silver. I don't want to go too much on Bitcoin because I want to make sure when I leave this time, some of you guys look into it, because no one did in 2013. Not only is Bitcoin money, it's also a banking system. Barack Drone Bomber, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, who did not have one day of peace his entire presidency. That was interesting. No one seemed to notice. No one seems to care. Said, we got to get rid of Bitcoin. And he said, the reason is, it's like everyone can have a Swiss bank account in their pocket. Good, right? Good. And he's like, well, how are we going to collect taxes? Good. I'm glad you're so worried about it. And he's like, we got to stop it. You know, how do you stop it? You actually can't. Like I said, where is it? Well, who do you shoot? That's all government does, right? What does government do? It uses violence. It's basically an extortion racket. There's no difference between mafia and government except for size. Government's just the bigger mafia in that jurisdiction. So every time they find someone on the internet and they go, he's the guy who created Bitcoin, they come in with their SWAT teams into the guy's house. This happened to the guy in Australia last year, Craig Rout. They're like, that's the guy who created it. They came in, like 50 guys with their black and helicopters. Where's the Bitcoin? How do we kill this? Because how are we going to get the taxes? Can't. Where is it? It's nowhere. This is beautiful. The only way to stop it is turn off the internet or the power, and that's why the internet kill switch is talked about a lot by politicians, because they're getting like, we're about to lose complete control of our extortion racket. They're thinking about turning off the internet or an EMP sort of a situation. This has been talked about a lot. And yes, if that happened, Bitcoin would be worthless. There is some Bitcoin people who will tell you, you can still have Bitcoin, but you need like a calculator and like 1 million years to figure out how to transfer it, which is true, but you're not going to do that. If the power goes out, totally possible. This, you know, how many people here realize that we basically live in a slave plantation? Wow, that was a lot of hands. See, something's changing. And Bitcoin can be a part of getting rid of that, and they know it. And it's going to be a battle, it's going to be a war. But a beautiful war, where no one gets hurt physically. It's a war of minds. This is beautiful. So that when I said again that, you know, just look into Bitcoin, this is like incredibly important. And for the religious people out there, and I believe in God, absolutely. Someone created this place. This didn't happen by accident. But then some people go, okay, in the Bible they talk about the mark of the beast, and they say, well, Bitcoin, that's the mark of the beast. No, that is a response to the mark of the beast. The globalists, the elites, want to move us. The entire fiat currency system is crumbling right now. It's obvious. U.S. government $20 trillion in debt, total debt and liabilities $100 trillion. It's going to fall apart. If you do the math, if you have a calculator big enough, $100 trillion, which is the total debt and liabilities of the U.S. government, which I'll get to after this, is $250,000 per person, man, woman, and child in the U.S. So every baby born in the U.S. right now has $250,000 worth of debt and liabilities. Every family of 4 in the U.S. is expected to pay off at some point, which obviously they never can. 1 in 5 people in the U.S. are actually on food stamps, thanks to the Federal Reserve and the quite communist style, although it's turning more fascist now. I don't know which one's worse in the U.S. That's destroying the economy. So when you have that kind of this thing's going to fall apart. This is for sure. This is mathematically impossible to continue much longer. And when I started the Dollar Vigilante, it was 2010, I said by the end of this decade, there won't be this fiat monetary system anymore. Now we're 2017, so we are getting a little close. Maybe I might be wrong by a year or two, but we're talking not much longer than that. You just look at the numbers, this thing's going down. So what are you going to protect yourself with? Gold and silver are great. But right there at the bottom, remember 1933. Americans might remember, actually they don't, because they don't teach this in the government indoctrination camps, which you're forced to go to for 12 years to do your Pledge of Allegiance, which used to be like this. I don't know if anyone knew that. They changed it after 1944. I don't know if anyone knows why they would do that, but anyway. Most people have no idea what's going on. And how many Americans even know that they confiscated gold in the U.S., the land of the free? I call it the USSA. Home of the brave, land of the free. Confiscated. Americans couldn't own gold between 1933 and I think it was 1974. Someone can correct me, I know you guys are gold wizards. Something, so about 4 decades. It was outright illegal. So, that's the issue with gold and silver. It is physical, and we live in a time, and a lot of people put up their hands here. When I said, do you realize you're living in a slave colony, a lot of people put up their hands, which is a huge change. If I asked that question 5 years ago, I don't think there'd be 2 people who put up their hands. What do governments do? The only way they can keep control is by killing people and threatening to put them and kidnap them and put them into torture rape camps called jails. But if it's, so when there's something physical, and look at Greece right now, did anyone see this? Greece has been going through nightmare after nightmare for years now. Do you see that they're just saying they're going to take everything that's in every single Greek person's safety deposit box now? Has anyone seen that? Anyone see that? Yeah, one person at least, yeah. Right. And it's that, well, we're not getting enough taxes. We're not getting enough payoffs. That's going to happen everywhere. I've said this for a while. It's really quite interesting to walk around on that street and see how many people have no idea how everything is just about to change. And a lot of people will go, oh, but I'm scared of the change. It's actually a really good thing. This needs to happen. This entire evil system needs to go down, and it will go down because it's the only right thing to happen. So don't have any fear about it. This is the only chart we need to look at. It's the U.S. government debt. That's at the bottom there, if you can't see, it says gold delinked from the US dollar August 15th, 1971. Look what happened since. And this is pretty much the exact same for every government in the world. How long is this going to keep going, right? It's not. And that's why a lot of you are here, because you know gold and silver are going to protect you, and it might actually make you a fortune, which is great. I'd like to see people like yourselves who are aware, who know how evil the system is, to make fortunes, and it's actually happening in Bitcoin right now too. Oh man, I only got a minute left. I've been rambling. Ed Bugos, I don't know if he's here. I don't see him. He's our mining analyst at the Dollar Vigilante. He's one of the smartest guys in the mining world. That's why I worked with him. So I asked him to give us 3 picks. I know a lot of people care about that. I think most people know Agnico Eagle. I don't really need to say too much. That's his favorite large cap. He's like that. He actually has been recommending it since it was $5 in 2001. And Ed's also a genius in Austrian economics, so he's one of the best sort of market timers out there, in my opinion. His mining mid-cap that he likes is B2 Gold. I think a lot of people here probably know about it. I don't think I have to say a lot about it. The one that probably a lot of people don't know about is his top junior pick is Cascadero, which is CCD. I got 12 seconds left. It's basically It has the biggest mine in the world for cesium, and the world is actually running out of cesium. It's just totally off the chart. Most people don't even know about it. If you don't know about it, just look into it. I'm running out of time, so I can't talk too much about it. But definitely, it's an amazing story. This thing could really be huge. And yeah, we're out of time. So if you're interested in all this stuff, check out our newsletter, Dollar Vigilante. You can go to dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. And we've been talking about this stuff since 2010. We've been writing so much. Ed Bugos, we're not even talking cryptocurrencies. We've made thousands of percent recommending cryptocurrencies last year, but just on the gold and gold mining stocks, Ed Bugos on our portfolio, this is all verifiable, made 99% last year. So that's pretty good. And I think he's going to probably do it again. I think I'm out of time, right? Am I done? Thank you very much. My pleasure.